No.
Did you see this? Oh my god, yeah. Do you guys want to see the video I saw the other day?
Yeah.
Do you want to check in? Where do you want to go? Okay, forget it.
Hey, Vince!
I just saw you checked in on.
Yeah, just here with some pretty cool cats. It's great.
Get down and kick the boodle. He's going off.
Yeah, don't worry, I'll ditch them and I'll put Nick there. Right, party, man, party. Sorry, I can't hear very well. It's so loud in here. Oh, wow. Yes, please.
Looks pretty delicious, but why take a photo of it?
Oh, for Facebook.
I'm sure people find that really interesting.
They do. 2 likes, 1 comment already.
Yeah.
Okay, so even though this stuff in the video is put in a funny way, it's really true. And I definitely see it as a problem in our world today. This social problem is a result of technology and it's making us socially awkward with others. Being socially awkward is when people rely too much on technology for communicating and then they forget how to act during face-to-face contact. They can isolate themselves and avoid others, be constantly on their phones, maybe during dinner like the video that we saw, and end up having higher anxiety when they have to talk in person. Some examples of how these people use social media are people can use the internet to make different personalities for themselves, such as being more confident and creating lies to make themselves look better than what they're actually doing and shy in person. Another way is social media can lead to problems in schools because they use it when they're bored as a distraction, and this can come into problems with job interviews. People use these sites to make friends because sometimes they have trouble being sociable before all technology problems, and it's a crucial skill needed in life. In an article called Are We Socially Awkward Because of Technology, it says that depending on technology at a younger age can affect a child's development because children can grow learning to become socially awkward earlier in the future. According to Eric Leday's infographic, 24% of people surveyed have missed important life moments because they were too busy trying to talk about it or upload it onto a social network. This picture shows that there's different countries who spend different amounts of time on their social networks, and it shows how many people are using different networks. And it shows in this last picture that 76% of people use Facebook and other kind of social networks to find old friends. So sites like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter add to this social problem. Facebook was created by Mark Zuckerberg, and it's the world's most popular social networking site. You can connect with old friends, post pictures, post comments, and basically just add your life to the internet. Twitter is similar to Facebook, but more like microblogging, where you just post short messages and your friends can see them. And Instagram is a network of editing and sharing pictures as well as videos, and then your friends can see that as well. Before we started using technology and social media to cause social awkwardness, maybe we should learn a little history behind it.
The problem is, in this day, people are becoming more and more wrapped up in social lives and beginning to drift away from their real life. People with the dependence of using social networks have made people forget how to interact with real people in real life, opposed to being behind a computer screen or like robots. The problem began with the rise of social networks, Facebook and Twitter. Although social network has been around since the early 2000s, we've seen a rise in the users in the years 2007 to now. As of February 2013, Twitter has 200 million users and Facebook 1.19 billion users as of September 2013. Other social networking websites came out around the times of YouTube, February 2005, Tumblr, February 2007, Instagram, October 2010, and Vine, January 2013. Social networks are most commonly used on computers, obviously, but are also used on devices such as iPhones, which was first released in June 2007, and BlackBerries, which were first released in 2003. These two devices are the founding fathers of our favorite smartphones. The cause of the problem is the accessibility to communicate with others without having to leave your house or without actually having to be around other people. And it's also the quicker access to the internet. Some symptoms of this problem are being distracted easily by technology, the constant use of phones, isolating yourself from real people, use of cell phones at inappropriate times, liking the people you meet on social networks more than you actually like real people that you know. Another huge issue that can come from social networks is identity theft. On social networks, you can be whoever you want to be with no limits. Another issue is cyberbullying. Since this issue is very new, there are no methods currently to deal with the issue we presented. The only methods semi-related are teachers requiring no electronics in the classroom and making it illegal to text and drive. Neither of which were made up to solve the problem we presented. The first just to keep focus in the classroom, and the second for driver safety. I guess this issue isn't seen as that important, but in actuality it is. So how about we put it in our hands and see what we can do.
Our goal is to push younger children away from internet use or make them not be able to log on to social. To push younger children away from internet use or have them not be able to log on to social networks for long periods of time. Before we can find a solution, we should make some guidelines first. First, the process has to be either cheap or free so people are willing to agree to it. Second, we need all sites to agree to this worldwide, or else the sites who do not agree will have to be shut down because the problem cannot be fixed. Each person should only be allowed to sign up for one profile per site so we can eliminate fake profiles. People's correct information should show up and pop up on the screen, and people can choose what can be seen to public and what cannot be. Have you guys ever seen the show Catfish?
No, what is it?
It's based off of real-life events, and people talk and fall in love online with people they have never met before. Neve and Max are in charge and run the show. They meet up with the people and bring them together, and many times they aren't who they say they are. This becomes a huge problem for many. To push younger children away from internet use or have them not be able to log on to social networks for long periods of time. Before we can find a solution, we should make some guidelines first. First, the process has to be either cheap or free so people are willing to agree to it. Second, we need all sites to agree to this worldwide, or else the sites who do not agree will have to be shut down because the problem cannot be fixed. Each person should only be allowed to sign up for one profile per site so we can eliminate fake profiles. People's correct information should show up and pop up on the screen, and people can choose what can be seen to public and what cannot be. Have you guys ever seen the show Catfish?
No, what is it?
It's based off of real-life events, and people talk and fall in love online with people they have never met before. Neve and Max are in charge and run the show. They meet up with the people and bring them together, and many times they aren't who they say they are. This becomes a huge problem for many.
Going back to Catfish, did you guys know that there are a lot of children who look older than what they are and go on Facebook, social media sites, and actually lie about their age?
What? That's crazy.
Yeah. So, for that kind of problem, what I was thinking is, for their parents to actually be very aggressive with them. Yell at them, putting them in their spot to prevent them from actually doing that. Let me show you this video that I found on YouTube. Just letting you guys know it has strong language.
Okay.
Putting all that shit on your Facebook page, making you like a slut? Who is that? Mary. So Mary got your password, so all these niggas sending you all those nasty ass fake dicks and shit and talking to you on Facebook come from Mary. No, talk louder. So you ain't putting that on Facebook. So all those messages that you sent to Khalil and saying that you love him, no, that's not you.
No, that's not me.
So this morning, that wasn't you.
No, that was Mary.
All of that is Mary, so you don't go out with Khalil. You don't go out with Khalil, right?
No,
You don't go out clear, right? You don't go out when you sure. Okay, and now, for the record, this is motherfucking Facebook. She's 14 motherfucking years old. Nobody ain't gonna do shit with her. She ain't fucking. As a matter of fact, her ass is on punishment right now, and she ain't even gonna go the fuck back outside. And I'm posting it to your fucking wall. How dare you tell me, Mary, you got your password again? How dare you? And soon I beat your ass and put it on Facebook.
Pretty crazy thing, right? So what do you guys think about it?
I think there should
Should
be
be
a better solution.
All right. Well, okay. Let me go off track. Did you guys know that a lot of kids who try to like multitask, study and use social media or text messaging, did you know that actually brings their grades down and actually makes them lose concentration?
Nope.
No.
Well, what I was thinking is, for parents to put restrictions or block, block it entirely. Or like in cases like of universities or high schools to have internet limitations, like internet access limitations, such that when they have their computer or they're on their computer or personal devices, for websites to be restricted. So what do you guys think about that?
It might work.
It
sounds,
could,
it
yeah.
sounds better than the first one.
Okay. Well, going back to the age thing, what about implementing a barcode thing? You know how like we all have our licenses or state IDs? We can use there could be some sort of reader that reads the barcode, tells you your exact age, that has to be put into the social media sites. But along with that, how your IDs and driver's license provide certain information, you can actually have the option to put that information on your social websites. What do you guys think about that?
That's the
That's
best
better,
one. Yeah.
Awesome. So I mean, the good thing, like from what I see, the pros of my first problem, with the 14-year-old girl and her mom yelling at her. What I would like, I do believe that it works. Like the child would be much less likely to lie in social media sites. But on the other hand, the problem with this, however, is that it could have an additional negative effect. For the second one, for my second solution, like the pros for it is that it could work if the child is young enough and doesn't know how to work a computer. If the child does not know how to undo these actions, then they are forcibly being limited by the machine itself. So parents would not have to worry whether or not they are spending too much time on the computer. For example, my aunt always reads my cousin's text messages on the computer because she wants to make sure that she isn't talking about inappropriate things. This is an additional benefit with parents using the tools available to them. Now, the cons is that children understand technology to a decent extent, and they can just undo the block that the parents set up. In my experience, I've seen children work around their parents quite often in order to do things that they aren't allowed to do in regards to the internet. This also depends on how tech savvy the child is. Now, with regards to the ID, the pros of it is that it actually might work, but it might work over some time. So in theory, this is a very convenient method that forces users to be honest with their age when they are online. And because the system is linked to the official databases, fake driver's license won't work. So this further prevents children and adolescents from using these websites. Now the downside is that technology becomes developed. There will be a problem with hackers. For example, once you scan your ID into the computer, a hacker could then steal that ID and use it for their own purposes. This makes this unsafe and could lead to an identity crisis. In addition, for this system to be functional, the databases that store the driver's license IDs or state IDs would have to be somehow accessible online, which gives the hacker another chance to steal people's identities.
So the best solution we all agree to is that we need to have the websites be able to scan the barcode on the IDs, right?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, with every solution, there's the deficiencies, and long-term and short-term effects. Some deficiencies that at least I can see from this are people can still be socially awkward because there's no time limit set on the amount of time you're on the internet.
Another one is that people will always be able to find a way to cheat the system. No matter how advanced we think we are, there's always somebody out there that's one step ahead of you, or, they can get around that protection wall that we put up. Another one is a lot of people will still get caught up in the internet. Another problem is not everybody gets their license. So if you don't have a license but you're old enough to be on this site, how can you prove your age? The website won't let you on. And then another is people could still be fake. This goes back to the point where people can always find a way to cheat the system. Eventually someone's going to find a way to create a fake ID that the computer thinks is real, and they'll be able to scan it even though that's not the real person. But on the flip side, there's good outcomes that come from this. Some short-term effects would be everyone would be able to make better connections because we're no longer relying on the internet. People have to meet face-to-face, and that just creates stronger connections in general. And an MIT professor and clinical psychologist, Sherry Tucker, says people are learning how to be alone together. This basically means people are spending more time with technology and not with personal interactions. With our solution, people will not be able to rely on technology when they have to be face-to-face. Another short-term effect would be children can no longer be exposed to inappropriate material for their age group. A lot of kids get something funny or inappropriate on their iPhone or through an email, and then they go and show other kids. But with our solution, they can't do that anymore. No one's able to spread the inappropriate material from one child to another. Also, grades will improve better because there's no distractions, like we said before. Technology gets in the way of a lot of things, but with our system, it won't be able to do that. Another good outcome that will come from our solution is people are going to gain more self-confidence, like we talked about before. According to an article called 6 Signs That You're Socially Awkward and How to Fix This, people who spend more time with the internet won't have good self-confidence with face-to-face interactions. This is a very basic need for people. Having self-confidence just gives everything a better outcome. And getting people, especially young children, off the internet will boost that self-confidence, and that's something they'll carry on throughout life. And then we have some long-term effects. Children will stay innocent longer. The less the children know about older inappropriate material, the more innocent we can view them as. Another one is people are having more personal interactions with each other because they're not on the internet. If you spend more time talking to a person than on the internet, it's just a better outcome in general. Lastly, people will become more observant of their surroundings. If you're not in your phone the whole time, you'll be able to notice the flowers or notice maybe someone has been following you for the past few blocks that you wouldn't have noticed if you're on the phone.
So for the solution of scanning IDs to work, it would have to be passed by the government. And to do this, we would first have to bring the attention to our local towns and mayor. And from there, we could bring the problem to the state, and then hopefully it would get enough attention by everyone in these areas to spread across the country and reach the federal government. The government will have to force website owners to meet the criteria of having a barcode on each website to scan. Users of the website will have to agree with the scanning rules of the internet used before they can get their license and will use it online. Now that you know about the solution of how we can all start to put this plan in action and prevent socially awkwardness.
Wait, what did you guys say?
Really?